filth-ridden, dirty heshers. You dirt ball. You're fucking sitting on your own ball sack for the last 4 months, scratching your ass, smelling your fingers, quarantined, ass wipes. Hey, I'm one of you, man. Right there with you. Right there with you, trying to figure out how to adapt, how to move forward, how to keep the train rolling. And hopefully, this is the answer. We gotta, as artists that can't play shows, we gotta figure out new ways to adapt to survive, as everybody does. A podcast is the only option that I see. We've gotten this far. We're still here, still fucking doing it. As long as I got these 4 walls and can pay the rent on this rehearsal space, then hopefully be able to continue shooting the shit with y'all. Because that's what this is. It's me shooting the shit with people that dig our riffs. Hopefully dig our personalities. There's a separation between Mountain Wolf and Heavy Riffs. Now, what is that separation? I guess the separation is that it's just me. I want Heavy Riffs to be a brand eventually with products. Cool slip mats, guitar cables, guitar picks, t-shirts. I got ideas going in my head, but I'm not going to say any of them because I don't want anyone out there in the ethosphere, the stratosphere, to steal it. For a while there, and obviously this is very self-centered and probably egotistical, but for a minute, every time we would say or do anything, it seemed like, and it's probably victim of circumstance, but it seemed like the internet, like we'd say something and then a week later it'd be a meme on the internet. Whether that be hot dogs, cold ones. I don't know, man. It just seemed like Justin and I would say or do something, and then all of a sudden it was everywhere. So maybe that's the simulation. Or a crack in the simulation. A break in the matrix. Or we're just extremely normal, and that's just the way life happens to go around us. I'm not quite sure, but it seemed like, even when back in episode 2 we did that whole segment on the Jim Bakker show where they were selling a cure for the coronavirus, and obviously that shit's built to go viral. That's why that guy was doing that. But a week after our video came out, it seemed like everyone was talking about it. And that makes sense now that I think about it. But it's weird when you do something way before anything. Now I sound like a fucking hipster. But you do something way before anything, and the next thing that you know, it's everywhere. It's just like pasted on everything. Plastered, dripping from the fucking paint in the walls. And you just gotta think, is this a simulation? It certainly seems like it. The way certain things go down. Kanye West running for president. Donald Trump being president. It just seems like the powers that be who created the simulation have just completely abandoned it. I've got this weird theory that the world that we know, that we exist in, was created in the 80s, and everything prior, like all the knowledge that we know of ancient history and everything leading up to the 80s, was just programmed for us to think that it happened, and that we're currently existing in a 40-year-old computer simulation where it wasn't supposed to go this far, and that's where we're at, and that's why nothing seems to make any sense. And that's just me. And I realize how insane and unthought out that sounds. But I mean, I don't know. Shit's getting weird out there. I was driving in the Inner Harbor in Baltimore for work at 11 in the morning the other day, and it was pure anarchy. Big shirtless dudes, face tats, bathing in fountains. More people nodding out than I've ever seen. Coming up, and I'm trying to grab bike rack for work for a show. And people just coming up to me while I'm grabbing this shit like, I need a lighter, man. Oh, just eyes closed. And like, that's happened before at midnight, but never at 11 in the morning, to me at least. And I spend a lot of time in Baltimore. And there's just this eerie vibe of just anarchy. And you can really start to see the cracks in the code breaking all around. So maybe it's not that far-fetched of a theory. It needs some fine-tuning. It needs some actual thought put behind it instead of spewing randomness into a microphone. But it is possible. A couple months ago, a couple buddies and I were super stoned, and we were talking about dreams. And one of the concepts that they came up with was that what your dreams are, and I know this isn't breaking news, people have probably been talking about this forever, but what your dreams are you visiting your other parallel alternate universes that you exist in, but you're just visiting yourself in those parallel universes. And I hope that's not true, because some of these parallel universes that I'm existing in are pure terror. I was reading about quarantine dreams the other week, and there's a phenomena going on where a lot of people, since we're experiencing more stress than normal, we're at our houses, a lot of people are alone for long periods of time, more than usual. Some people only see their some people only see their coworkers. At least I've got a significant other to share this experience with. But I got some friends that are doing it completely alone, and I feel for them, man. I feel for them. I couldn't imagine doing this alone. That sounds fucking miserable. I'm sure suicide rates are skyrocketing. In March, it was supposed to be 2 weeks, and here we are coming up on 4 or 5 months. And it seems like we're going back into another lockdown. I think California just went back to step 1 today. It just doesn't seem fair. How frustrated would you be if you did everything you were supposed to do for 4 fucking months? You get a little taste of regular life again. Your job brings you back. You get to be a regular at your favorite bar. A couple comedy clubs are opening. They're doing a couple drive-in shows. And then, nope, shut down. We gave you an inch, you took the whole yard. shit like that. It just, if we here in Maryland go back to step one, it's not going to be good. I couldn't imagine being in California going back to phase fucking one. People are going to break. People have already been breaking, but it's humans can only take so much. And even now more than ever, when something good happens in your career, in your life in general, something good happens, you can't even relish in that moment to fully enjoy it, because it just seems like immediately something shitty happens right after. And I know that happens a lot. And I know that's just life. And maybe we're just focusing on that now because we have all the time in the fucking world to focus on it. But it seems like that's happening a lot lately. You get one good thing and then boom, like someone just shits all over it. For example, once again, at the beginning of this year, we had 7 awesome shows set up, studio time set up, and then coronavirus, but that happened to everybody. And I realized that I'm not the only one affected by it. But prior to all that, and thank God we did it, we got into a studio and recorded 4 or 5 really awesome tracks. You can catch 2 of them on the Hell on Earth music series. I believe it aired yesterday. Today's Wednesday, July 15th. It aired yesterday, July 14th, but I'm sure it's still existing on the internet on twitchtv.com/Hell on Earth music series. And we'll release it, our own versions of all that. But thank God we were able to get into Kensington Studios and record all of that. Because that's all we got to release. And it's been 4 or 5 months and we've put 1 video out. You know, I'm kind of thankful that we didn't get into the studio and record during all of this. Because release it to what? Just so people can listen at home? You can't even go out and support it. Can't even go out and play those songs right now. You know, I know a lot of people push the content train. Oh, you got to be putting out content all the time. For what? So people don't forget about you? No one's going to forget about you. The people that give a fuck about you are not going to forget about you. And if one person gives a fuck about you, you already won the fucking lottery, man. You won the lottery. If you make $1 off something you create, you won the fucking lottery. And it's hard. It's hard to make $1, man. Uncle Mitch always said it's hard to make $1 in America. Which is crazy, because you can just... It almost seems like you can just reach out and grab it sometimes. But goddamn, someone's coming for that $1. Shit, you have to pay taxes on unemployment. Can you believe that? You already pay for it every paycheck. And then when it comes time when you need it, 30 fucking million people need it. And you get the letter in the mail, it's like, oh, you gotta send this in to have taxes taken out of it. Fuck you, you're gonna tax me twice? So it goes. So it goes. You know, I gotta re-up on merch. Our reserves are running low, which is great. But do I have the extra money to, reinvest back into the band right now? No one's got the money to buy merch right now. You know, the small bag that you may have for a rainy day, now more than ever, you need to hold on to it. Obviously, there's nothing going on to spend it on other than existing and surviving. But that small bag that you saved up, hopefully, you saved for a rainy day, you got to hold on to that. And not even just for yourself, you know, a best friend of yours who hasn't worked in 4 months. You know, rent's always due on the 1st. You know, if you got the money for the rent and your friend only has half, you know, help them out if you can. And don't ask for it back. But it's hard to do that, especially if you're like us. This rehearsal space is $440 a month, and we split it between 5 people. Just $88 a month for each person. And even that, that's $88, you know, for what? We use this a couple times a month. That's why I'm trying to do this, to at least utilize the space for something. But that's $88. That's a trip to the grocery store for a month at my house. And obviously, there's no ads on this. It was the longest. It was a joke at the beginning. Oh, Heavy Riffs is brought to you by Mountain Wolf. Like, of course, why not? That you need to use anything that you can to promote your merch. There's no sponsors for this. That's the goal, but that's not happening right now. And you see all across the board with the big podcasts. They're losing sponsorship left and right because they can't afford. No one has residual income laying around to be buying random shit. And if you do, and you are, then all the power to you. I just spent $30 on a fucking crystal the other day. It's a dope looking crystal, but I'm not into crystals. Why did I buy it? Because I'm addicted to consumerism, as I'm sure the majority of you are. And it sucks. You know, they say you get the same dopamine rush from window shopping that you do from actually purchasing something. So I hit Facebook Marketplace to look at vans and trucks all the time, Lord knowing that I'm not going to fucking buy one. Unless I got that sick deal and, you know, $900 for a decent pickup truck, 100%. But, you know, I'll be looking at Reverb, looking at a nice new amp, and I don't need any new amps. I got fucking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in this room for no apparent reason, other than the fact that I just like amplifiers. But, you know, when that stimulus check came in, that new Mesa half stack was looking very beautiful. That new tunable custom guitar was looking extremely attractive. But no, added it to the rainy day fund, man. Because that was fucking 3 months ago. They really expected $1,200 to help everybody. Well, maybe they didn't know that, you know, it was going to be this long. Unfortunately, in America, the coronavirus is a political opinion, which is why we find ourselves 4 to 5 months later still in this fucking predicament. Numbers are low all around the world, and sure, oh, they're lying about it. What? I mean, yeah, you can't trust anybody. But I can trust the fact that it's been 5 months and some of my friends are still not back to work. Some thousands of people around the country are still dying. You can't fake all that. Jesus Christ. I feel like if the country actually shut down for 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, no one did anything, and that's 14 fucking days out of the 87 that you live, 87 years that you live, that's 14 fucking days. You're telling me that you can't sit in your $100,000 landscaped backyard and enjoy it for 2 weeks? Yeah, I need a haircut. Fuck you. You don't need a haircut. Let that shit flow. That's what blew my mind. Most of the people demanding for things to open back up again are the people that have it all. And us with our little slices. We're just like, nah, like, enjoy what you have. It's that incessant need to consume, I guess. I guess when you get to that certain age and you get a certain amount, I mean, it's hard to stop the train when it's rolling that fast. And I know people have to get back to work. Everybody, like, work keeps you sane. Work allows you your freedom. You know, a steady paycheck is awesome. But goddamn, 2 weeks? I feel this could all be over in 2 weeks if we actually shut down. What we've been doing for the past 4 months is a bullshit version of shutdown. When shit's shut down, that doesn't mean that you can go to your fucking local watering hole and still get drunk. And I know the bars have been closed, but you know what I mean. And I mean, I'm super thankful just to even have this outlet to come here and just vent. That's basically what I'm doing. It's very therapeutic, and it's a fuckload cheaper than therapy. And I fully recommend, if you're going through some shit, therapy has helped me in my life. It's helped my girlfriend in her life. It's helped countless numbers of my friends. You know, yeah, it feels good to vent to one of your friends, but they always have an ulterior motive or a biased opinion on it because they know you. They know you. It's nice to sit down and talk to a licensed professional that doesn't know you from dick. They'll give it to you straight, Jack. They don't give a fuck. I mean, and if you're lying to your therapist, then you're just wasting. You might as well take that $90, roll it up in a joint, and fucking smoke it, because you're not doing shit with that. I lied to a therapist once, and he called me out right away. He was like, "Why are you lying to me?" And I was like, "How can you tell?" He was like, "Tyler, I charge you $90 an hour. Like, there's a reason for that." I was like, oh, shit. And so he really put it in this perspective. I'm not going to get into what I was going there for right now. Doesn't seem appropriate. You know, if this grows and turns into an actual something, then fuck yeah, I'm an open book at that point. Anything you want to know, I mean, there's some deep, dark, treacherous stories. And they'll all come to the light, but there's got to be a reason. There's got to be a little incentive. Watch this Tim and Eric Zone Theory movie, or interviews and all their videos. You can find them on YouTube, but it's so funny. They set up like a Scientology-esque cult, and they were very transparent that they were doing it for that green stuff. He's calling it something stupid. I can't remember, but it's hilarious. I went and saw Tim and Eric live. Probably 24th or 20. It had to be my 24th birthday. It was in October. I don't know what year that was. That was 4 years ago. 2016. October of 2016. I went and saw Tim and Eric live for my birthday by myself. I'd asked my cousins to come with me. They were all about it up until like the day before. They were like, oh, never mind, we didn't get tickets. My 3 or 4 friends that I'm really close with, grew up watching Tim and Eric together. One of them's dead, one of them's completely insane, and one of them lives in Britain, and I think was living in Florida at the time. So, yeah. I was recently single at the time. So I bought these tickets, and I went by myself. And there's something to be said about going to shows by yourself. It is fucking incredible. Probably top 5 things to do. For all you people that have gone to shows by yourself, you know this. There's no agenda. It's your agenda. You can do whatever you want. You can leave when you want. You can take a piss when you want. You can do this perfect amount of drugs that you want to do. You can drink just the right amount of alcohol. You can meet people. There's nothing better than meeting people. Hopefully we get to do that again soon. But it was at this brand new theater in D.C. I think it's the Lincoln Theater in D.C. At the time, it was brand new. Still brand new, but it had, like, just opened. And it was an experience and a half. The Tim and Eric show is terrifying. Everything they do is terrifying, but seeing it live was scary as shit. DJ Doug Pound opened, and it was demonic. I'm saying straight satanic. I mean, it was really something else. They did skits that had never been released before, and wore costumes and sang songs, and you're surrounded by people that understand that humor, so it was very cathartic, but everyone was just as scared and terrified as the person next to him. And then in the middle of the show, they're pretending that they're going to intermission. The lights kind of turn on, but like very dim. And the theme music for Check It Out with Dr. Steve Brule comes on. And everyone's like, oh shit, what's going on? And the shuffling in the audience kind of rotates. Everyone's looking around, and everyone kind of looks over their shoulder and looks behind them. And lo and behold, Dr. Steve Brule, John C. Reilly himself, is walking down the aisle. And the place erupts with applause and like, oh shit, oh my God. And John C. Reilly gets up on stage and just does like 20 minutes of Dr. Steve Brule. And, you know, if you don't know, John C. Reilly is like a Academy Award-winning actor in Chicago, fucking all that shit. Like classically trained, I'm pretty sure. So I'd consider all 3 of them living legends, but definitely John C. Reilly. And Dr. Steve Brule is one of the all-time most hilarious characters, in my opinion. And at the time, they were doing their HBO show, Tim and Eric's Bedtime Stories. And the day that we had seen that show was the same day that they were premiering, like, the next week's episode, So Heavy, whatever. So everyone that was at the show was going to miss that night's episode. But we didn't. They aired it for us there on the Jumbotron, along with the next week's episode. And this fucking... I know it's on YouTube... But it was Dr. Steve Brule, and he was working at a grocery store, and they played that whole thing, and, I mean, everyone's just mind-blown. And the episode that they showed was the one with, I think his name's Jason no, who is it? Jason Schwartz? Jason Bateman? Jason Schwartzman. It was the episode with Jason Schwartzman, where... his agent hits him up and is like, Jason, baby. And he's like, come to mama. They do this whole weird fucking mother-son thing. It's very strange. But she's like, we need you to do an advertisement for this watch company. And he's like, I'm a cool actor. Like, I don't do advertisements. And she's like, oh, no, don't worry. There's this agency that sneaks in your house at night, injects you with these drugs. You don't wake up. They take you, they set it all up. They shoot you. They bring you home. You wake up with a cool, crisp $1 million check like nothing ever happened. And he's just like, I never wake up. Cool, let's do it. So, of course, it's Tim and Eric that are running the sleazy, disgusting, Gollum-esque, Wormtree-esque photography company. And they sneak in, they steal Jason, they take him to their sketchy little studio. They shoot all these pictures. Tim and Eric are dressed like goths. It's fucking hilarious if you haven't seen it. You gotta check it out. And in the morning, after the shoot is done, they take him back home. I mean, they were like slapping each other's asses and kissing each other dressed as goths and fishnet the whole time. It's fucking hilarious. They take him home. He wakes up all refreshed, birds are chirping, the sun's shining. He opens up his fucking nightstand and there's the $1 million check. And he steps outside of his house and everything's fine. You know, fucking another day on Main Street, Mulberry Street, whatever. And he gets in his car and he's driving down the 502 and he looks up at a billboard and it's got his face on it, and they photoshopped his eyes so that he was awake, you know, because he was knocked out on sleeping pills for the shoot. And the eyes that they photoshopped over him made him just look absolutely retarded. And there's this big, it's like Schwartzman for FEO, watch company, whatever. This is Jason Schwartzman with these eyes, and he's like, oh God, and then his career just tanks because of it. There's just, the National Enquirer runs an article, it's like, Schwartzman's a dink, and it's just been the funniest thing to me since I've seen it. And, you know, his beautiful Hollywood girlfriend breaks up with him, his agent drops him, all this shit. But that's the episode of Tim and Eric's Bedtime Stories that they premiered that night. And watching that, you know, watching it with your friends is one thing, but watching it in a sold-out theater with 4,000 other people is just a completely different energy. And then they came back out. I think that's when they started doing Zone Theory, so they did, you know, maybe 10, 15 minutes of that, which was strange, and I don't think anyone got it at the time. I still don't get it to this day, but yeah, so going to shows by yourself, you know, if you got tickets when things open up again, and you get tickets to something, and your buddy is hyping you up on it, and then drops out the day before, go to the show, because you will have an absolute blast. I've been to music festivals by myself. I saw Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats, their first tour in America. I went by myself. Now, that was an unfortunate circumstance because I was supposed to take this girl I was with at the time to it, and it was Uncle fucking Acid, first time in America. The venue online, I had bought tickets a while back to it, but was like making no money at the time, only had enough to buy one ticket, and you know, she slept on it, she wasn't able to, she just forgot. And when it comes time for showtime, they said they were fucking sold out, and she's like, oh, go. And I'm like, okay, like, well, yeah, I'm going to go no matter what, I'm a piece of shit. So I go, and I get to the venue, and they're like, we're not fucking sold out. I'm like, then why? You didn't answer your phone calls? Well, whatever. Ended up having a blast. There's a fight in the crowd for whatever reason, or an Uncle Acid show, which Made no sense at the time, still makes no sense, and the lead singer noticed it and stopped. He was like, "Hey, you fucking cocksuckers. There's no fucking fighting at my fucking show. Get the fuck out." And it kicked him out. I was tired. Everyone's like, "Yeah, get the fuck out of here." But that was, I smoked some weird shit. That was like when Pens first came out, and this fucking big doom fucking Hesh dude was like, "Hit this little man." And I was like, alright, I'm not that little, but alright. Compared to this dude, I was. I don't know what it was. I'm sure it was THC, but it could have been like a DMT pen, because I blasted off. And Uncle Acid was doing their fucking harmonized Beatles meets Black Sabbath shit, and first tour in the United States, and it was something. So what I'm saying is, go to shows by yourself if you have the opportunity to. I mean, fuck, I went to the Shindig one year. I was working at Paul Reed Smith Guitars at the time, and they always set up a booth, and I was in charge of the amplifiers, so I set up all the amps there, and then you only have to do like a 45-minute shift, and then you get to enjoy the rest of the festival, when you finish working, which was awesome. I mean, I saw Stone Temple Pilots, like, I think Chester Bennington was doing vocals for Stone Temple Pilots. I'm 99% positive that was a thing. I saw them. I saw Chevelle, which was fucking awesome. I saw Clutch for the first time there, which was awesome. Anthrax played. I saw Scott Ian with his fucking goatee just shredding. And I think Godsmack closed out the night. Say what you want about that shit, they put on a fucking killer show. I think the middle of the set, the lead singer takes the drumsticks from the drummer, and all of a sudden he's fucking Neil Peart. He's fucking Thomas Coster up there just ripping, and you're like, what is going on? You should be the guy in the band. You should be the drummer in the fucking band. And he's shredding, and they do the whole fucking Tommy Lee thing where the drum set's moving and swirling, and everyone's like, oh, this is crazy. I'm by myself. This sexy-ass older broad fucking just, like, grabs my face and starts kissing me. I'm like, yo, this is tight. I just made out with a 65-year-old fucking metal broad. What the fuck's going on? Go get another drink. Look to my left. And there's a fucking strip club set up as a vendor. And I'm like, oh, absolutely. Like, this is happening. They have the pole and everything. So I'm just sitting there chilling with the strippers, having a blast. I was wearing like a yellow staff shirt. So during Chevelle's set, this huge mosh pit opens up, and it looks like I work there. So then I start pretending that I'm doing mosh patrol. Now I'm fucking like 23 at the time, so don't hold it against me. But I'm pretending that I'm doing mosh patrol. So anytime someone got slammed, I'm like, guys, let's pick him up. Like, I get like 6 big dudes pick up whoever got knocked over with me, and then we just toss them back into the crowd. People were like, oh, it's the mosh patrol. So yeah, if you have the opportunity to go to shows by yourself, do it. It's fucking rad. All right, man. That's my time. This is the second time I've been here this week, so it feels good. I'm going to try to do this every Tuesday. Either Tuesdays or Wednesdays, depending on when we have rehearsal, depending on the work schedule. I'd like to get on like a rhythm of getting one of these out a week. If you enjoy this shit, let me know. I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Black Flower Season for providing the music for this week's intro. Please send me your tunes, heavyriffspod@gmail.com. the only way for this to grow is for people to stay interested. I hope this shit's getting better. You know, it's hard to sit here and talk to a camera. It's really hard. But the only way to, you know, get better at shit is to practice it. So that's what this is. This is practice, because I like doing this shit. Like I said, it's a form of therapy. It feels really good. When you can't scream into a microphone at the moment, it just feels good to set up all the shit that you've invested all your money into and, you know, just use it. It's also fun working in production just to plug shit in. The first gig that we had after quarantine, getting back to work, it just felt good to fucking tighten some bolts and truss, plug in a couple fucking lights, a couple TVs, and just turn it all on, and it worked. You know, so, you know, people are suffering out there, especially in the entertainment industry. We're the last ones to fucking open. There's going to be a lot of amazing clubs that are not going to be able to make it through this. So just keep that in the back of your head when you're tipping 40% to a waitress. And shout out to the food industry. That's my girl's business, but they're getting back. They're getting back open, half capacity, dining outside, all that. But the clubs aren't open. So just remember that. You know, just remember your friends that get paid to push knobs and make shit happen for all of us to enjoy. Because music saved my life. I'm sure it saved all your lives. So just keep that in mind, because if we get back into phase one, these small clubs that hold 1,500 people max, probably pulling $3,000 on a good night from alcohol sales in a $10,000 a month building, they're hurt. They're all mom and pop shops. So maybe we'll get something set up. Maybe we'll move everything over to Patreon. You know, charge a fucking $2-3 a month. Cheaper than your daily coffee. And maybe we can find some places for that money to go to help some people out. Because right now, as it stands, I'm doing all right. Tom's doing all right. Chris is doing all right. Justin's doing all right. My family's doing all right, and I fucking hope y'all are doing all right. But I know there are some people that are still not working, still haven't gotten their unemployment, still haven't received that stimulus check, and I feel for them. Because that shit sucks. That's it. Heavy riffs, man. Keep it fucking heavy. Love your neighbor. Love yourself. Do whatever you can to get through this shit. And one day we'll all be back together, banging our heads, making out with 65-year-old metalheads, and hopefully catching a dope strip club show at a music festival. But who knows? It's up in the fucking air. We'll see, man. I love you. Mwah. Good night.